The story continues at the school scene to be all dark and empty. Blade walks through the corridor with his sword drenched in blood as he remembers all the people he defeated. On his way there he meets Sophie, revealing she always wanted to go in an all-out fight against him. She wonders if she can beat him if she doesn't hold her power back. She activates her power to stop time and lands 3 hits on Blade. But after backing up, she notices that Blade doesn't even move. She wonders why she didn't defeat him. Blade explains that she can attack him several times, but if her hits deal no damage to him. He then pushes her against the wall and reveals he used the technique to momentarily increase his body toughness, and since she stopped time, the technique was active the whole time. Blade then pierces his sword through her stomach and wonders why he's still doing this despite being an ordinary person now. He raises up and shouts to the king to stop what's going on because he believes this is all a spell or a trick. The king shows up in a hologram and reveals this isn't a trick, this is virtual reality. I got you there, didn't I? The king is all happy because of this new technology and tells Blade to use his real power because nobody will be hurt. The Demon Lord and Ku are having the time of their life fighting each other. The king also mentions this is the best way of practical training ever created. So his goal is to improve the students' skills by using this technology because they can fight until their virtual reality death. Blade calls this a sick joke and asks if there isn't a way to make it easier to distinguish between what's virtual and what's real. He thinks this is too realistic, and thinks there are some people who will return to the real world thinking they're still inside virtual reality, and those people can slaughter their own friends thinking it's fake. The king realizes that would be a problem and pushes a lever. The lever changes the background to something like Alice in Wonderland. The king then tells them to continue their fights to the death in this new setting. This is a literal battle royale where the last person standing gets the right to use the virtual reality however they want. Yes, you can finally score a date without many options. Blade decides to end this as fast as possible. Leonard is running happy that he gets to face Ernest just to be sliced in half. This girl became a literal psycho inside the virtual world and starts stabbing Leonard several times. After Leo disappears, she starts moving, wondering where Blade is, talking about our boy. He's just walking around watching how Yasuka and Claire fight against 2 guys. The guys are all happy because the 2 never defeated them while they were still in the lower class, so this is pretty much an easy job. The girls refuse to give up, and Yasuka asks why the guy refuses to lose to them. The boys become embarrassed, you know what's in their heads, and Yasuka takes the opportunity to attack and defeat one of the boys. Claire also strikes the other one, and they finally scored their first win against them. But there's a problem. Ernest is there dragging her sword. Happy that Blade is in the area, she reveals that killing people is fun. Seriously, first she cannot contain her weight, and now she cannot contain her psycho vibes. She calls herself stupid for holding herself back all this time. Blade then recalls that he made her a promise that he would cut her down if she ever went berserk. Just the swing of his sword destroys everything around him. Ernest rushes against him, but Blade randomly swings his sword to create a wind current that stops her. Seconds later, Blade wakes up in the real world with all students staring at him. The king laughs, mentioning that Blade was the last man standing, as expected. Yasuka and Claire don't even know what the hell he just did at the end, but they at least didn't feel any pain. Ernest is crying like a little girl because she can't believe that she went full psycho mode inside. Blade even mocks her, mentioning how she was laughing like a villain. She yells at him to shut up because he's overpowered, despite his claims of being ordinary. The king continues to laugh, thinking that his brilliant idea is giving them the joy of youth, but Ernest complains about the trouble they have faced because of this. The king continues to laugh, as expected, unreliable as hell. Blade approaches the king and starts messing around with the virtual reality system. The king tells him to enjoy his reward until he notices what Blade is doing. Blade is inserting data of ferocious demons, creating booby trap floors, and all the stuff you expect in an apocalypse. Blade then activates the system, and the king asks if those settings aren't too extreme for him, but tells him that it's okay and puts the virtual reality system on the king's head. He then tells the king's assistant to make him respond every time the king dies. She accepts and asks how long the king's punishment should last, and Blade tells her to keep it until nighttime. The students start leaving the area, except the 2 guys who face Yasuka and Claire. They're literally depressed. Meanwhile, inside the virtual world, the king cannot believe his eyes as he sees tons of demons looking at him. During mealtime, Yasuka and Claire ask the boys why they're depressed. Ernest asks about the situation, and Blade explains they were defeated by the girls. Ernest asks him why the girls won. Blade explains that Claire got better and Yasuka went all out. The boys lost because they thought they were stronger and neglected their training. Some days later, Blade checks a pamphlet revealing the king decided to build a hot spring. He and his friends decide to check the place and meet Dion. They're curious because they don't know what it is, but Dion replies, they will know once they get inside. Turns out it's a mixed hot spring where they must wear their swimming clothes. Blade actually enjoys it despite Kyou swimming around. Dion reveals 3 hero-level warriors were summoned to build this blade and notices Maria and asks if she isn't the demon lord today. She replies that she cannot let the demon lord out because she would remove the swimsuit, but Blade's 5-year-old mind doesn't get why that's a problem. He then notices that Ernest is missing and asks about it. Turns out she's all shy because it's a mixed bath. The only problem here is the king who decided to go commando. They put some sense of decency on him, but he forbids people from using towels while on the hot spring, targeting Ernest. Turns out the king is still a teenager inside who wants to see the girls. All the boys except Blade decide to join him in his stupid conquests. Yasuka tells Ernest to drop the towel because, let's be fair, everyone has already seen her. The guys all cheer for the moment, even the king, until he gets smacked by his assistant who drags him out. Ernest then takes the towel off and tells Blade to not stare at her. Let's be fair, he didn't even notice her. The other 2 guys are still depressed, but Yasuka and Claire decide to talk to them. They try to conform to them, but the boys accept that they neglected their training to add salt to the injury. Claire apologizes for winning, and the boys run away crying like little girls. By night, Blade tries to comfort them because they simply lost once. They explain that he doesn't understand them because he never lost to a girl before. In fact, he never lost to anyone. They reveal that they cannot stand the situation because they didn't want to lose to those girls because they like them. Blade doesn't understand the true meaning of those words and says he also likes them. The boys are shocked, thinking he likes Sophie or Ernest, but they later understand what he means when Blade says that he likes everyone. They try to explain what love is to Blade. One of them is into Claire, while the other is into Yasuka. One of them explains he likes Claire because she looks innocent, but she can also be ruthless sometimes. The other one likes how Yasuka looks free and he still likes her despite literally saying that she belongs to the streets. Kyou gets inside through the window because he knows she heard everything and she has the solution. They just need to become stronger so the girls look up to them. She explains that females are attracted to strong males, so they just need to train the guys think makes sense, but don't know how they can get stronger. That's when Kyou reveals they just need Blade to train them. Meanwhile, the girls are enjoying the night, giving Ernest even more cakes to eat. This girl has no salvation, but their conversation switches to the other boys not talking to them. Yasuka doesn't understand why they're behaving like this, and Claire suggests they lose to them next time, but Sophie and Ernest think that won't work. Guess who's back? Back again? It's Kyou through the window. She tells the girls that males like strong women, and if the girls get stronger, the boys will be all over them. Yasuka and Claire reveal they have no interest in the boys, and failed Claire then suggests to Yasuka they should miss training so the boys get stronger than them, but Ernest won't allow it. For the next couple of days, the boys train under Blade's supervision. Can someone explain what the hell is this? After completing the training, there's another virtual reality competition. The boys promise that if they win against them, they will confess their feelings. They are at once matched against the girls, while Ernest and Blade are the referees. Yasuka rushes in immediately and Claire follows up. The guys manage to stop their attacks and get the advantage on their counter. Ernest is curious and asks if Blade taught them how to use their fighting spirit, but he explains that he made them realize that they were already using it subconsciously, so he just taught them how to use elements. One of the guys uses wind against Yasuka and the other one tries to attack, but Yasuka uses fire to counter and projects him against Claire, who smacks him on the face. Yasuka then focuses on the other one and uses ice to freeze him in place, followed by a lightning attack. This time the boys accept their defeat and promise they will get stronger than them. Turns out all the girls taught Yasuka and Claire how to use elements just because they were being trained by Blade. Ernest is all made because she's expecting Blade to love her, but she has no hopes of him confessing to her. Of course, Blade doesn't understand what the hell is going on. That brings the episode to an end. Thanks for watching episode 6. The rest of the episode will be on my channel. Kindly like the video and share it if you enjoy it.